I was kidnapped and raped. They also asked me to close my eyes, but I closed my eyes, but I kept opening my eyes because I wanted to see where we were going. The guy who was driving was an elderly baba. He kept complaining. Her eyes are open. She's seeing our faces. We'd have to kill her. Slaps me around. So I don't fight anymore. Eventually it does happen.
So you guys remember the bag I took to Atlanta for the YouTube event? Yes, it is this bag. And the good thing about this brand is I actually know the owner of this brand. The owner of this brand is a friend and it is black owned. It is Nigerian owned, super affordable. Packaging is so lovely. And yes, I do have a discount code for you if you want to shop. It's always going to be found in the description box. The link to the website will also be there to get some money off your order. Thank you.
March 29th, 2014, I was kidnapped and raped. I was at a restaurant with my siblings and our friends. We went to celebrate my sister's birthday somewhere in Victoria Island in Lagos. And I stepped out to get credit, left my phone with my friend. As I was walking, almost, getting to the credit vendors, this car just pulls up beside me. There are too many in it. There's a big guy, comes out, he's wearing glasses, and he tells me to get into the car. So I get into the car, and we're just going round and round in circles. We don't go anywhere in particular. And I know mostly it's because I didn't have my phone. They asked me for my phone and all of that. It's different when you have your phone. They keep you hostage. They call everyone on your phone. They try to get money. I tried to open the door at some point, but now I know that there was a child lock on it, so I couldn't. The big guy makes his way to the back. We're both at the back. He's going through my wallet. I had my office pass with me. I have some spare cash. Asked me for my ATM. Asked me where I work. So I give him the ATM card. I tell him the PIN, everything. He asked me to take off my clothes. I'm wearing a jumpsuit, so I take it off. We're just sitting in the car in my underwear. Oh, they also asked me to close my eyes, but I kept my eyes, I closed my eyes, but I kept opening my eyes because I wanted to see where we were going. The guy who was driving was an elderly baba. He kept complaining. I know he was very antsy, very anxious, that her eyes are open. She's seeing our faces, so we'd have to kill her. And wow. So the big guy is just trying to pacify him, or sometimes trying to ignore him. Then he slaps me around, slapping me, knocking me, just literally trying to make me afraid so that I will eventually close my eyes. So I don't fight anymore. Eventually it does happen. He rapes me in the car. My brain just goes blank because I don't want to feel, I don't want to think. After he asked me to get dressed, and eventually he dropped me 2 streets behind my office at the time. Make my way back to my office. I thought I could walk because they let me go, and then they gave me some of the spare cash from my wallet and told me to use it as my transfer money. Wow. I tried to walk because my rationale is, let me walk to my office. There will surely be someone there who would help me get back to my family. And I run into the office. There is someone there. One of my colleagues takes me back, and everyone is outside. They had been looking for me. My dad even called the last few dialed numbers on my phone because I recognized the people there. He tried to get me to a hospital. My sister's friend that kicked everyone, spurred everyone into action that we need to get her to a hospital. No hospital would take me that night because nobody wanted to treat a rape victim. Some hospitals just couldn't be bothered. It was late in the night. It was like past 11, almost midnight. But yeah, that's my story. After this whole ordeal, the whole experience, I told myself that maybe if I had sex with somebody else, it'll help get over the feeling of being raped, which is, the biggest lie I've ever told myself in my short life. As the thing about temporary fixes is that it's temporary. It doesn't last, and it's short-lived every time. So you keep going back. You keep sleeping with the next person, hoping that, after a while you even stop hoping. You're just doing it because you can't stop. Eventually, I was even in this relationship with a married man. Well, when we started our affair, he wasn't married at the time, but what does it matter? He was halfway to married when I met him.
In the midst of all those things happening to you, did you feel like, God, why is this happening to me?
Oh, yes, I did. The night that happened, I told myself, I remember sitting on the side of the road, I told myself, I was going to ask God why. I just had a feeling that this had happened to me for a reason. I told myself, just sitting, as my siblings were finding out one by one, I was just sitting, just looking. I had like a removed experience, like a, out-of-body experience. And then I told myself I wasn't going to ask God why. I wasn't going to let this change me. But you can't cheat the process. You literally have to go through it. You have to get to the point where you ask God why. You have to ask. God is waiting for you to ask him why. And so I did. It took me a while. because I thought I could go back to normal. I was letting God know that I was disappointed in him. Like, it wasn't even just about being angry. I was just disappointed. Like, you, this God that you said you're everywhere, you have my back, you love me no matter what. You're my covering, you're my shield, my fortress. Where were you? Fine, I was sitting here and there, but nothing to warrant this. I'd ask the questions, have my doubts, have my moments, and then pick up again, move on with life. Book another appointment, for sex, and there was also the fear that comes with trauma. After this experience, I could be on the road and I can tell you the ratio of men to women in just one sweep, one glance. I could walk into a room, I can tell you how many men are there immediately, like on the spot. I know that it's not balanced. There are more men here than women. I was just aware. Walking on the streets, going home, you're afraid. Someone walks up behind you, you're afraid. Car pulls up beside you, you're scared, extremely scared. Like, there was a time I peed on myself at the bus stop. After a while, they graduated from fear to anger. I wasn't just angry with God, I was angry with everyone, with the whole world. I was just angry, like, why me?
There's this idea, like, people say this to Christians a lot when they go through trauma or something happens to them, that, oh, you went through this for other people. And you've also mentioned that. And I actually know the answer to this. I just want to hear what you think. Like, so the arguments might now be like, so, okay, are you saying that God causes bad things to happen to people? Are you saying that God is the one putting us in difficult situations so that we can learn from those situations? Like, what kind of father uses evil to teach his children things?
People don't like to admit, but God is partial.
Okay, I want to ask, is it that God is partial, or God just has different purposes for his creation and then it can look like it's partial? Okay, so scripture has already even put it this way. Like, if I'm a potter now and I make a bow, I'm like, this one is for visitors, this one is for me and my spouse. So one pot might say, why am I for visitors? That means that God is showing more like favor. That means isn't it showing more favor to the one that is for her and her spouse? But it can just really be like, it's just different purposes. It's not really.
When I say God is partial, I don't even mean it like that. But yes, that's one way to look at it. And I love that example.
Yeah.
But I say it like this: there are some people who have been through trauma like mine, and they went down the dark path that I did after the experience, and they didn't make it up. It's not that, and it's not even, and when I say God is partial, it's not even like God didn't love them. No, God knew that, you know what, just come home. Just come home, baby. You may not even be able to survive, the extent to which this dark path will damage you. So come home. Do you understand? But for some people, God is like, you can.
I think it's more that because God has made us, he knows the capacities that each of us has. I know definitely there are things that God never even lets me try. It might look to someone else like God is partial to me, but what it really is that God knows that I don't have the bandwidth to come back.
Yes, exactly.
So he's just like, you know what, I'm not even going to let this, person. But even a simple discipline like don't eat rice, I can't do it. So imagine if I've had so many experiences in my past, how do I start coming back from that when I can't even stay away from rice? So I feel like God is just like, no, don't bother.
Exactly. So this is exactly what I mean.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, when God takes an interest in you, so does the devil. And unfortunately, on this side of eternity, we are not, we're not removed from pain or frustration or evil. On this side of eternity, on this earth, we are living inside the evil. The darkness is here with us. It's alive, And so, until we get to a point where heaven has come, and this kingdom now becomes the kingdom of our God, we will always experience trauma like this, one way or the other. It may not necessarily be the trauma of rape or abuse. It could be the trauma of friendships breaking up. It could be the trauma of, a strained parent-child relationship. It could be the trauma of a terrible marriage, a trauma of a disgusting divorce. It could be the trauma of just, toxic parents, exactly. We will experience trauma one way or the other.